Good afternoon.
Hey.
Refresh your browsers, y'all, because today is Wednesday,
Trying to get over.
February 22nd, 2012. And you're listening to Room 3026 Live.
Live.
Episode 471. A 60-minute conversation ranging from technology to pop culture. I'm your host, Damon Nolan. We are broadcasting live.
Live.
Right here in Durham, North Carolina. It's lunch hour in the Onyx Tower.
Yes, it is, y'all. Yep.
Today, my co-hosts are Mr. Derek Brinson.
The world's funkiest man. Stay funky, my friends.
And Mr. Michael Render.
Doozy.
Now, as always, we encourage your participation. You can join the conversation. All you have to do is call us via the telephone. That is at 646-929-2689.
Do that.
Again, that's 646-929-2689.
Do that.
You can also chat with us via our chat window right here at blogtalkradio.com.
Yeah, do that too.
Click on today's episode. It's a big red mark that says
On air.
click that,
Yeah.
scroll to the bottom, and there we are.
Probably a simple div tag. But yeah.
Yeah. I want to give a special thanks to Mr. Darren Tyler for providing our theme song. It's called
He knows everything.
And without you, that we would not be where we are today. So thank you for what you do. Let me turn to the chat room and say hi to those who are
Happy
walking
side product.
in right now.
Side effect. It is funky. Who's in there?
I see Dyslexic in America is here right now. What's going on, LL?
LL is also funky.
I also see Alan Tran, the man, is here. What's going on, sir? And I also want to say hi to those who are listening right now from the telephone and listening on the archive. I want to say thank you for joining us.
More and more of y'all joining us. Thank you. Come join us in the live thing. It's fun.
It's fun. Definitely. So anyway, it's Wednesday. We are just now getting over the hump, as Derek would say.
We ain't over yet because the day is still not quite half over. By my count,
So
right around the end of lunch hour in the Onyx Tower is the halfway point of the day, thusly the halfway point of the week. Downhill slide into the weekend, over the hump. You get the idea.
Gotcha.
Right.
Boo-ha. We got you all in check. Anyway, yes, we're almost there. It seems like it does kind of seem like a busy week so far.
Yes, full of lots of rousing discussion.
Yes. Things to do, people to see.
Did you see the news story? The Obama social HBCU symposium kickoff is getting a great deal of play in local media and some national stuff too. Kind of cool.
Cool. Well, we may talk a little bit about that in just a moment. I want to kind of give you a blurb of what we have on our agenda for today. I have a couple stories here. One, we're going to talk about a new technology that Nike is rolling out. It is actually a combination of their shoes and an app.
The shoes.
It's all about the shoes. So we'll talk a little bit about what that is, Nike's new tool, and we're also going to talk about this. T-Mobile is trying to block Verizon from a new deal that it's trying to make. And we'll go into details on that. Derek, that's your carrier.
That is my cellular service provider, and they are haters in just the right way.
So we'll talk about those in just a moment. And then
Hating in just the right measure.
there is more of that as well on this episode of Room 3026 Live. So just so that we can sort of recap on that, last night here on the campus of North Carolina Central University, the Student Body Association hosted. If you can just I don't know if you can just limit it to the Student Government Association, because I think the university hosted. It was a team effort. But the university hosted the Obama HBCU
SGA,
Student Summit.
Yeah, the Student Government Association was the hosting organization, but without the infrastructure
Right.
of the organization at large, of which I am proudly a part and madly scrambled for a good week or so.
Yeah, and I wanted to make sure that was said so that people would know that it wasn't just the student government that did it. It was a team effort by many people
Yeah, them cats
across the campus.
Cats can't hang no network wires and video encoders that go back to the. Never mind.
You're right. So anyway,
maybe one day they can do that.
Obama, he wasn't here personally, but it was a student summit, and we had a number of people from our state.
Yeah, Gabrielle Union was
here.
Was the celebrity calling card, and
I didn't see her in person, but
she was here.
But no, I saw her. Well, I watched it from the office here.
You saw it.
I saw the video.
I know you were here because I was
here till about 8 something.
Yeah, I was here. I left just a skosh before you did.
So I thought I'd catch it, but it was a good turnout. Did either of you attend? I know you weren't. You didn't attend.
I was monitoring website, and I went home and monitored the rest of it website.
So how did it go?
Well, as you know, a couple of days before the event, after a couple of weeks of planning, we were going to do it in the student union, and it occurred to them that this is going to be as big as I did tell them so.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to move the venue and the infrastructure therein a couple of days before the event to the auditorium, and I'm so tired from doing the I told you so dance, but this is very much a load off my shoulders. I'm glad it went off without a hitch. And my boss's boss, well, your manager, Harry, he coordinated things masterfully.
Right. Yeah. Well, he's got years of experience in doing that.
He does.
And but I will say,
good dude, by the way.
He
just for the record,
he used in this case the Obama team used Ustream for their video. I wasn't thoroughly impressed with the quality of it. I don't know if it was the camera or if it was Ustream.
Yeah, as we discussed, some of our homegrown live webcast productions at least matched that quality, for which I'm kind of proud of.
Right.
Imagine if we had the gear.
Boy, we would be hot. So, Mike, did you make it last night? Did you go out there?
Nah.
I heard the crowd was crazy.
Had some camera business to handle.
They Gabrielle Union, I don't know if you heard her keynote, for want of a better word. She said that they had expected 500 and got about 1,000.
Right. It was packed. It was really packed. And they came from all over the state. I know A&T was here. Fayetteville State was here.
Secret Service was here.
Secret Service was here. Well, we had a number of special guests in the house, so I can understand.
Valerie Jarrett, who is the senior political advisor, I think she just left the direct cabinet report to get on the campaign trail, if I'm not mistaken.
Cool.
Yeah, it was
very cool.
It was a very, 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 very cool event. I'm pleased and proud to be associated with the institution.
So I guess the thing here is that we're trying to push voting registrations. Probably a big piece there. Get out the vote. This is an important year, one, because it's a presidential election, and this really came from Obama's camp.
You know what I found out during the course of this exercise? That people under 30 vote at less than a 33% clip, and people over 55 vote at more than a 67% clip. And this is especially true in the primaries and in off-year elections. So what was considered to be a wave of anti-Obama voting mandate in the midterm elections was, statistically speaking, pretty much
people not voting.
A combination of the under 30s not voting and the over 55s voting. Consider the idea of AARP or any organization, political organization, looking out for the lobbying, looking out for the interest of those of us that are either approaching Social Security age or over there. They can they can mobilize themselves en masse for a protest in a short period of time with signs saying I'm over 55 and I vote, and they can show up on their local representative's doorstep in a hurry, and that stuff matters to. In this day and age, where those that purport to represent us, they're essentially in a perpetual campaign period now. But the thing is, for those that are under 30, there are no organizations that seem to represent their interest quite so strongly. And I think perhaps that this thing may be part of that changing, because it matters. It matters to them because they're going to be around longer, for Pete's sake,
Right. Well, Well, congratulations again to the university for pulling that off. I heard it went well. So big shout out to all of those that helped make that event a success. All right, quick announcement. Let's talk about this Triangle AMA Digital Marketing Training Camp. Don't forget, it's February 29th. That's just around the corner, 7 days away now at the Briar Creek Country Club. That's you can go to triangleama.org. Again, that's triangleama.org to get all of those all the details on who's coming, what sessions are in order, and there's also a discount code for 10% off. Use DMBC10. Again, that's DMBC10. Go to triangleama.org to get all the details. We'll be there doing an episode next week, and I'm probably going to hang around pretty much the majority of the day.
Might help
and
you
attend those sessions.
Might help your memory as a what do they call that? A mnemonic device to help you remember. That's a digital marketing boot camp. They can't use the phrase in their marketing, but it'll help you remember the discount code.
Oh yeah, the DMBC. Yeah, DMBC10 is the discount code.
Just trying to help.
Cool. All right, let's move on to FeedWatch.
FeedWatch.
Yes.
FeedWatch. Did you catch my Twitter feed last week?
Maybe.
Did it have anything about state?
No, it didn't. It
Oh,
did have something about
dang.
Netflix.
FeedWatch. This is where we constantly comb the blogs so that you don't have to. We give you the news that you can use because that's what we do.
It is.
So, you best not snooze. You will not lose.
You better not. Better not let me catch you.
Unless, of course, you just enjoy singing the blues. That's the Huffies.
The Tar Heels won last night. Yeah. That's another reason to do the Huffies.
Overstate. So Nike has a new app and a new pair of shoes that are coming out very soon. I want to talk a little bit about them. And before I do, let me ask the question: have either of you heard about this before? Or is either of you aware of this new thing?
We have the shoes for that.
I've
That
heard
doesn't
of-
have the same ring.
I've heard of Nike's new thing, but I don't know.
There's a
if
shoe
it's
for
the
that.
same new thing you're about to say.
Okay. Well, it's called
it's
Nike
the app.
Plus.
Oh, no, none of
Nike
that does
Plus.
work.
Have you heard of that? Nike Plus is a Nike Plus app. Is the brand, and what they're doing is they have taken what started off as a glorified pedometer and into what essentially looks to be a total workout tracking platform. And I almost want to say I'm familiar with this, but I don't know if that was an iPhone. Or I don't know if it was specifically to an iPhone or to an Android device or anything like that. But I do recall Jonathan, one of the guys that works here at the university, I want to say he and I think Shaban as well had this app on their phone. And while they were working out, it would keep track of where they were walking or how long they were walking. I almost think there was a map involved, but I can't be 100% sure on that. But either way, what initially started off as just a way to track your exercises now has become an entire system that now will even use your shoes to help provide data to your phone or to the device. So here's some of the details. They have two different brands that are coming out. One is called Nike Plus Basketball and Nike Plus Training. That's the second one. So the first one is basketball and the second one is Nike Plus Training. Two totally different experiences that have their own function. So for those of you who are basketball players, and I look around the room, I know that there are some who enjoy playing basketball. Mike, you enjoy playing every once in a while.
No, he doesn't. He enjoys talking junk about basketball. What do you
Well,
want?
play.
no, they play.
Yeah.
I kid. Because I love
play.
So they have one. There's one called the Hyper Dunk feature, which is a pressure sensor that measures the speed, the height of your jump, and even the abstract concepts like hustle. So it features a showcase that lets you basically superimpose a workout data over the video of you dunking, and then posting it on the web. So taking your data that you report from your shoe, and then providing a visual that you can post to the web, which is kind of cool.
Mike, can you
That's
dunk?
kind of hot. Yeah.
You can dunk.
Yeah.
Well, he's kind of tall,
That's what I was
Yeah.
asking. You lying?
and he's slender too, so
Yeah.
it doesn't take much to jump, and grab. What is it?
You
Was
got
it
the video
9
of you
foot?
dunking?
No, but I could probably make one.
Do that.
I'd like to see that. That'd be kind of cool.
See that would
Alright.
Yeah.
see that would be one of the few times that you would need an animated GIF as your avatar.
Be like, ugh, take that.
Wouldn't take but about 5. You
On-
going 10 feet up, 3 feet up,
right?
4 feet up,
Because
6 feet up, 7 feet up.
What 6 foot? What now? 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah.
Take about
something
five,
like that.
5, 6 frames in an
Depending on what
animated
shoes
GIF,
I'm
too.
And then you guys, if you lift your arm up, you're probably another couple feet. So that's what an 8 foot reach.
Looking at it, your boy got some wingspan. Sure.
So if you can just jump a foot
I
off
wouldn't
the
go
ground,
that far.
you
Nah,
could
you need to
Probably,
go-
probably closer to
Yeah.
probably
A
closer
foot and
to
a
2.
half.
Yeah, a foot and a half, maybe 2.
you could probably get that ball over the
Yeah.
thing. Anyway,
I can dunk too.
so that's the new feature.
Donuts.
It's
Yeah, I was about to say
it's
donuts.
Nike Plus basketball, but the other one, Nike
Nuggets.
Plus training, actually helps you get into shape, and it does that through a number of things. Number one, it says there's a series of drills and challenges that will help you improve your
Wade
speed,
in the water.
agility,
See?
and strength, and help you increase your performance. And then what it does is it adds that to a leaderboard so that you can say, well, how well am I performing compared to my friends?
Dude,
Uh,
no.
Yes.
Yeah, this is totally different from
Yes.
what I thought you was gonna say.
Okay. So that's not the same thing that they had. I do recall like they had like a little
Yeah, a little band thing.
They had like a little character that kind of played as them. They could sort of dress this character up. But it was a Nike app though.
Oh.
I don't know if it was exactly this one. I don't know if we have Jonathan's number. I'd almost call him right now to find out if we could what app he was using. But I don't want to do that because I don't want to get him in trouble. But I'd like to know, just to be clear. But anyway, here's the thing. So it requires the app and a pair of shoes, and it looks like there's something called the Hyper Workout Plus for women. I guess is the name of the shoe.
So you got to have special. Okay, I just want to make sure
Yeah,
it's not.
it's a shoe plus app.
Okay, so there's some.
partnership.
Yeah, so there's some electronics in the shoes.
I guess so. I don't know how that works exactly.
That's kind of what I'm getting at.
But I'm assuming that since they go together, the shoes and the app will have to work together. The name of the shoe for the woman is the Hyper Workout Plus, which is the woman's pair of shoes. And then the TR1 Plus is for men. And I don't know if that means anything to you at all. And I don't know if that's if they have like a basketball shoe version and they have like a cross trainer shoe version.
Yeah, they do. I just looked at some pictures.
Oh yeah, can we look it up real quick? What'd you type in?
I went
TR1.
to
TR1.
actually,
Hey, didn't we have an app that we could see what was on his journal on this?
No, we don't. No, sorry.
But I went to Armin's website, Bull City Billionaires, and he has an article actually talking about.
Okay, so there's a picture there.
Yeah.
So did you type in
Bull City Billionaires.
Is there any curse words on this page? Because
It's possible.
It's possible, but
be careful.
we can only see it. So,
Well, if you're saying it online, then other people can go there too.
well, that's at your own risk.
Okay, so we're going to this website, but I'm sure you could just type in TR1, right, for Nike and probably get the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, so TR, I'm gonna do one because
Dash one, regular one.
it looks like TR1 plus space Nike. Just to see. Okay, I see it now. It's called. They have one called the Nike Zoom Hyper Dunk. Is one TR 1.2 cross trainers, and I think now the one that we're talking about will actually come out. The ones that have the apps connected to them will actually come out on June 29th. So they're not actually available. This particular brand, this particular one here is not available. But I did do a search for TR1 Plus.
Ooh, I had those back in the day.
And I can see what they look like. They have a Zoom Hyperdunk. They have TR Fit Winter. They have TR2 or TR 1.2.
Like you had every kind of shoes
Mox
though,
training.
between then and now.
So
Yeah. A lot of kids did.
a lot of guys have some interesting shoes.
Shoes.
It's all about the shoes.
Man, Nike is doing some crazy stuff. I'm looking at something else. They're coming out with a sock knit shoe, where basically the same material that your sock is made out of, the whole casing of the shoe besides the sole is made out of the same thing. It's crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
Tim Arthur has a couple insights on this. He says, talking about the app, for example, he says that this app provides all sorts of stats for runners as well, and says that they're also going to sell a sensor that you can put in any shoe, so it's not going to be only that one shoe. It'll actually be
There you
I was
go.
curious about that.
something you can type in it. But he says he thinks it's in the laces. He thinks it's in the laces versus in the actual shoe itself. But either way, I mean, those are some darn good-looking shoes.
Yeah.
I can only imagine they're probably going to cost well over $100, which means I definitely won't get one.
Has Nike sold any shoes for less than $100 in the last 20 years?
Yes, they got
yeah.
some right now, $59
did not know
on.
that.
Man, you can go like
Go to
Kohl's. And
Foot Action,
Foot
$59.
and
Hmm.
famous
Some
footwear
cross-training shoes.
and- Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, you can always get them on sale somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say hi as I look around. I see Neil is here. Welcome, Neil.
Hey, man.
Also got guest 2366 in the house. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate that. So I'm gonna move on to another story for a moment. We'll talk about Derek's mobile carrier. That will be T-Mobile. And according to this latest story, T-Mobile wants FCC to block Verizon's spectrum. It looks like they're trying to get a deal with the cable industry. And it looks like, let me make sure I'm clear on this. It says they're trying to stop and block the transfer of, and I'm assuming this is AWS, would be Amazon Web Services, the spectrum licenses, which includes Cox, Time Warner, Comcast, and Bright House, which were all going to come to Verizon. Now, I want to say, and I don't know all the details on this, but I want to say that we were sort of aware of this, that there were some relationships with some of these cable companies going directly to Verizon, which means you should be able to watch some entertainment directly on your phone. Television now. We're talking cable television to your phone.
I don't
It's
think
a
this
lot of
is.
data.
I don't think this is necessarily directly a phone thing.
And that may be true. That may be true.
I don't believe this is
and-
exclusive to phones.
Then explain to me what you know about this, because I don't know a great deal about this. I don't use Verizon. I don't know what they provide. So if you have some information, I'm curious to hear it.
Not so much information about this in particular, but the government owns what they call the spectrum, which is the frequencies for radio and television stations, those broadcast frequencies. Now that broadcasting has gone to a digital spectrum, all of those, that real estate where one can broadcast their airwaves
Mm-hmm.
is open. And as broadcasting media begins to wane and cellular-based air communication begins to increase, they need some place, some way to broadcast their signals. So it may very well be that, and so the government is selling licenses just like they used to sell AM, FM television station licenses for cellular providers to use those same frequencies to broadcast their signal, whereas you used to could pick it up on an AM, FM television station. Those guys are going away.
So what's the problem?
The problem is T-Mobile's getting ready to get left out in the cold.
So I don't understand what Verizon has to do with this. So let's assume Verizon buys some of this spectrum, okay?
If they buy
What
all,
happens?
if they buy all of it, it's like buying all the towers. Buying the spectrum and buying the towers are very, very closely related because the towers have to broadcast on some sliver of the spectrum.
Okay. So let me make sure I understand this. We have cable companies, right? Time Warner Cable, Comcast Cable. We got all that. Then we got Verizon, which I understand does mobile, right? It's a carrier for mobile phones.
Not just.
What else do they sell? Because as far as I know, they sell
they
mobile phones. What else are they selling?
They sell mobile phone, cellular phone service, but they also have a digital wired digital home internet service as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, see, that I didn't know.
Yeah.
I just thought they were just doing handheld. I mean, the mobile devices.
Nope. If you could, there are
You
some
can get
cities
internet
there.
from Verizon too.
Yeah, there are
You
some
can get
cities.
internet, like home internet.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
why,
like Time Warner
like
Cable, you can get Verizon.
in some cities. It's not
Oh,
available.
really?
It's
I'm
not.
just saying,
Yeah,
let me go look at Verizon.
it's not available everywhere.
Nah, I stay with Time Warner.
Okay, so
It's not available everywhere, but AT&T does the same thing. I mean, well, because
Yeah.
they've already got.
Theirs is actually cheaper, too.
Verizon FiOS.
Yes.
So
There you
help me
go.
understand. So that's what they call their home internet service is FiOS. Because I recall that we were talking about the Xbox and how the Xbox 360 was going to be able to connect to, I guess, FiOS.
Yeah, once you dispense with the idea that that
Wow.
Verizon is just
Sounds
Verizon Wireless, Verizon and Verizon Wireless are come under the same building, but Verizon Wireless is not all that Verizon does.
Gotcha.
Once you get to that idea, you can see how
Gotcha.
you can see how T-Mobile's gonna get nervous looking at the future.
Okay, so
And the FCC may or may not agree with them. They might just say, "Dude, you show."
so they're not a cable company, are they? Or they're just a digital internet provider.
I'm trying to remember. It seems like some city to which I traveled, Verizon was a cable provider. I might be wrong. That might just be part of their digital service.
Like home internet, or is it cable, Mike? You said cable. Did you say?
Well,
did you say
it's
cable?
similar to cable. It's like they provide their own. You can buy internet just like you can buy Time Warner internet.
Right.
Yeah, but
But-
as far
but-
as cable broadcasting,
Like
I don't
shows,
think,
like,
yeah,
did
I
they
don't
say,
think
like-
I think you can in the same way that
think
you can
they're
buy
trying
AT&T's.
to.
I think you can.
Yeah.
It's in a couple of cities in the same way that you can buy AT&T's Uverse. Part of that
Right, yeah,
part of
they
that
do have, like,
digital
a
package.
Uverse type
Part of that
service as
digital
well.
package is something that works in the same way as a cable box. I don't know if you can call it a cable box,
Mhm.
but and they may very well call it a cable box. It is the same thing, whereas they're getting those cable signals to which they are authorized to bring through their digital
And it is
signal into your
cheaper.
also and it puts it into
Oh.
your television.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, Miss Eileen.
I mean, what's the difference between that and cable?
Miss Eileen, who is here. Welcome, Miss Eileen. I also want to say hi to Random Brain Activity. Bob H. has chimed in, and Little Bites.
Yeah, come in, straighten us
that's
out, enlighten
very
us. Come in, enlighten us, straighten us
Well,
out. Hey, the gang's all here. Cool.
They are actually saying that right now. Eileen
Excellent.
jumped in first and said they also have DSL.
Yeah. We talked about
Bob
that.
H. then jumped in and said FiOS is the fiber
home
internet, phone, and TV. They get
there it is.
the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, right. The whole package, just like Uverse.
And as a matter of fact, he says in Dallas they offer TV over
FiOS.
FiOS.
I knew it was someplace. I knew that they
Okay.
did it in some.
Eileen says, I have Verizon FiOS, that's the phone, internet, and TV, and they don't refer to it as cable.
Right. That's
Okay.
that's
So-
the part that I was.
So the relationship then, that,
Thank you very much, Jared.
and whatever that relationship is, because it wasn't specific, it didn't say, I guess my assumption then was that it was Verizon Wireless, and it's not, is that their relationship with Verizon and these different cable companies
Mm-hmm.
is for a different reason. Their deal is going to be for a different reason.
Yes.
And hence the reason why I am now concerned as to why T-Mobile would want to stop this if they are not doing if they're not doing home internet. Why would they care?
Good question.
Well, let me finish the story. And,
Oh, sorry.
And I'll pull out some other numbers here.
Right quick before you restart, Neil, and for the benefit of those that are watching the rebroadcast, Neil from the chat room says they, meaning Verizon, sold all their copper wireline service to Frontier Communications about a year ago. They still have FiOS, but it is technically not a copper cable service. It is essentially internet, a digital information pipeline that includes the ability to get television.
Gotcha. Okay.
Glad that, I mean that's an important fact to straighten out.
Well-
Thank you so much, chat room. You guys are the deal.
That's why we love you the way we do. So let me then restate this statement is that T-Mobile is filing a request with the FCC on Tuesday asking the regulatory agency to step in and block the transfer of the AWS Spectrum licenses from Cox, Time Warner, Comcast, and Bright House to Verizon. So there's some kind of transferring going on of licenses from here to Verizon. Now, the deal, which will cost the carrier roughly $3.9 billion, is already drawing some interest from the Justice Department, which obviously is going to be concerned that it may have way too much control over this area, which is very similar to what many thought about the AT&T thing. And I think there was another issue, and I think that from T-Mobile's perspective, there's another set of issues that they have that obviously is causing a little bit of issue. Number one, T-Mobile, which is the smallest of the nationwide carrier, is also worried about the concentration of spectrum in Verizon's hands. So
That's it. The concentration of the spectrum is ultimately at the end of the day, that concentration of what we were just talking about, the spectrum, in one or two hands is ultimately the same thing as a monopoly. If you've monopolized all the resources, you have monopolized the service. And therein may be where the FCC is going to choose to step in and say, come on, let some of the other kids into the sandbox.
Right.
There you go.
I still don't think I fully understand what it is they're transferring or what this is exactly, but
Okay, consider the idea. I think I can make this quick because of my broadcasting background back in the day. Back in the day, go to any given city and you have numbers on your digital radio, 95.1, 92.3, and all those are essentially frequencies. And two radio stations can't broadcast on the same frequency at the same time.
Gotcha.
So what the FCC used to do before they got into this business of before the modes of communication started to evolve, they basically went to every town and saw how big the tower was, how far it went, and say, okay, you can broadcast on 95.1 from here to here using this tower. And they would go to another city and say, well, 95.1 is creeping into your area. You can have 95.3, and they would divvy up that whole spectrum. That spectrum now is becoming less and less used. So now cellular companies are running out of space on the frequencies in which they broadcast. So that those towers broadcast on a different spectrum. You can't pick it up on the radio, but it is a frequency, a radio spectrum, which is the frequency that the signal
So I
wobbles.
guess my question then becomes is that, again, if T-Mobile is not doing internet service, is their concern not so much that they do internet services, television, internet, and all that, but that this would then give them just too much power and money and influence, which would ultimately then affect their mobile services?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I got you. All right.
That's my understanding of it,
Okay.
and I don't claim to be.
Yeah. I
don't claim to understand it any better than you. I just explained it in a way that maybe you got it. So
Sure.
if we both have the same misunderstanding, at least we're on the same page.
We're on the same page.
Somebody come straighten us both out.
Yeah. If you guys got something else,
it's a smaller job now. We're both on the same page.
Exactly. Get us right. All right. Well, let's pull out our cameras. Let's take some pictures. We call this Daily Booth.
What it look like? What are you wearing?
All right, y'all. Daily Booth is where we go to take pictures. It's a place we go to see what you guys are working with.
Mr. DeVille,
Or what are you wearing,
I'm ready for my close-up.
as Derek likes to say.
I do.
You can go to www.dailybooth.com. It's a free website. You pull out your webcam, your cell phone, and just upload a picture, whatever is easiest for you. And once you do, share that picture with us right here in the chat room. Don't worry, though. If you're listening on an archive show, you can always join us. The same address. Go to dailybooth.com/Damon Nolan. You can follow me there. Let me know that you are a listener, and we'll follow you back. I always like to see new people, meet new people, and see what you guys are up to. All right, I'm gonna turn to Daily Booth, and it looks like, what do we see here? That you guys get your stuff. Mike, did you post a picture?
No, I don't.
Because I saw you pull out your camera. I can't tell from here. Let me go in here and pull it out. All right. So I didn't take a picture today, because we had another meeting, and they always run right before the show, so you're always like scrambling trying to get everything together. But feel free to post your picture as you get them. We'll take a look at them. So we look forward to seeing those. I want to say what's up to the Rab, who posted a picture. He's dressed up in a shirt and tie.
Well,
Very nicely done, sir. Very nicely done. Tim Arthur does post a picture, and he says,
with the thumb.
with the thumb, happy Wednesday, y'all. Or all, excuse me. You know, he's been here long enough to know. He's a Southern boy now. He's a Southern boy. I don't know how many years it takes to become a Southern boy, but I think he is one.
All of them. Easy. With the humor there.
All right. Well, feel free to post those as you get them. We're going to move on to another story. I'm going to continue for a moment talking about Verizon. And I believe in this case, we are going to talk solely about Verizon Wireless. Because there's been some issues as of even this morning. There's been some issues. Mike, I think you're on Verizon Wireless now, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So this is going to affect you some, or maybe it doesn't. But we're going to talk a little bit about this. And that is to say that this morning, Verizon Wireless reported on its Twitter feed that it's looking into customer complaints about its 4G service going down. Now, this is big because clearly Verizon is supposed to.
This is not too far.
Right.
This is too not
Supposed to.
far unrelated from the story we just read. They are running out of pipe. They're running out of spectrum.
They are having issues. Verizon's tweet says VZW is investigating customer issues in connecting to the 4G LTE data network. 3G data, voice, and text services are operating reliably. Now, looking at the phone, you have an iPhone, and that's an iPhone 4. So there is no, as far as I know, unless I'm mistaken, they don't do 4G on those.
No.
Okay. So you wouldn't really know. So it's mainly going to be for those other phones, the new phones, like I think, what is it, the Droid? I think the Droid was a 4G. There's a number of other phones that have 4G. I know I have a 4G phone, although I am not with Verizon. I'm with Sprint. And it's not as if I ever use, be honest, I never use 4G. I mean, I'm paying for a service that I never use.
Yep.
And I don't have a choice. And of course, I'm totally moving away from Verizon for a second to say that I have no choice. I can't use 4G, number one, because they don't have it where I'm located. And number two, I'm paying for it, and I can't use it. So it's
really gonna hurt.
It's like $10. I think it is for 4G. It's like $10 a month, and I can't use it. I mean, I guess I could if I was in Raleigh. As a matter of fact, let me see. Let me do a quick, very quick Sprint 4G, not FG, 4G network, North Carolina. Let's see if there's
Just
a map.
Raleigh.
Let's see if there's a map that tells me where in the world is Carmen Sandiego.
Yep.
Let me double check. And last time I looked, like I said, the map only allowed me to get it in Raleigh, and it was very, 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 very small place. So I don't know if they've done anything more. And of course, I go to the website, and there's this huge 4G advantage. You could get all this stuff that I can't use. So again, I don't know. But anyway, going back to Verizon for a moment, because that's pretty much what we want to talk about for a moment, is to say this: they're having issues. And according to the story, the problem really comes down to a bug in Verizon's core service delivery architecture. Now, it doesn't say that they're running out of spectrum, although that could very well be an issue, that they don't have enough. But assuming that assuming you do have 4G today, right? You would just imagine it's going to continue to work in the area that you are.
That has not been my experience with Verizon. I mean, going outside the 4G delimiter. I mean, like I said, but I was a Verizon customer for like 10 years, and I sat down one day at the desk that I have had for years and years and years to make a phone call, and suddenly my ability to send and receive phone calls in that place stopped, and shortly thereafter so did my affiliation with Verizon.
Dang.
Cold-blooded.
All right, so I just got the map to finally come up over here.
Like I said, they run out of juice, so there is only room for so many noses in the trough.
Sure, I can see that. Well, either way, for whatever reason,
it's bandwidth. It is pipe. Same thing.
For whatever reason.
Well, I think part of the reason is the influx of added customers / users with the iPhone deal / promotion. A lot of people jumped in. A lot of noses jumped in the trough at the same time, and everybody knew they weren't ready. They did. I mean, they knew it. They said as much. They said they basically said this is going to stretch our resources in best case. Even if we were able to expand our infrastructure, in the best case, it was going to. We saw this coming.
So I guess then my issue becomes how can you in good faith advertise the way you do? Right, on television. Oh, we got the fastest 4G network.
Let me answer that question before you finish
blah.
asking it. Advertising, good faith. No.
It doesn't work, huh?
Advertising, good faith. They are mutually exclusive. Advertising has a particular goal in mind, and good faith oftentimes is, shall we say, a detriment to that. Dude, just sell them a service.
Well, that's sad.
That's
sad.
I'm just really cynical about advertisements in general. They're going to tell you just enough truth to not get sued. They're
Right.
under no obligation to tell you the whole truth. They're under no obligation to tell you, by the way, if too many people decide to sign up for this service, your service, if you sign up, it may be negatively impacted.
Sure.
They're not going to tell you that.
Well,
Such is the nature of advertising.
short.
So,
I did finally my map comes up, and in this area where I live, and I don't know where you guys are, but where I'm at, I can get it. Looks like Durham and Raleigh, Cary. Looks like it's pretty good. Now I can even get it down to maybe Clayton, which is just almost to where I live, but it's right on the highway. And it looks like that's the line that they're drawing here, is that if you go too far outside of Raleigh, you're short. You won't be able to get it. So anyway,
that's often the case when you leave a major metropolitan area.
yeah, my point really being is that it's not enough for me to really use 4G. Not to mention, if you use 4G, it'll drain your battery even faster. So unless you're on a network, but see, usually if I'm going to be next to a plug-in anyway, I'm probably going to be able to pull a Wi-Fi. So they're going to have to do better on that.
You are more determined than most to carry the laptop and find a wire in any given place. A lot of people just don't have the kind of patience. They don't have the kind of stick-to-itiveness. I admire that about you because, dude, you are always plugged in. And, if you're plugged in with a wire, you've probably got a good, stable, fast plug-in.
Pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, the only time I really, dismount from the energy source, I would be good if I was a transformer. I would just be living on top of Energon cubes. Is pretty much where I'll be living.
Nice.
But anyway, Dyslexic America says, Clayton is good for 4G. Yeah, because he lives there, so he knows. But again, if you're and he's right off the highway, so it's not like, where I live. And I'm not too far off the highway, to be honest with you. But
it's not necessarily how close you are to a highway. It is how close
it
you are
seems
to
where-
it's close how close you are to the node, and that's the difference between the old ISDN style digital connections and DSL. How close you are to the node and how many nodes are in that, or how many connections are. That's going to determine your speed in terms of your wire connection as well. So if you're in an affluent neighborhood and at the edge of that, chances are you're going to have a slower internet connection than somebody on the other side of that same neighborhood.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, just looking at the map, it just looks like it's kind of like right there outside the highway. So, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, anyway, that's Sprint. Verizon. They're having some problems right now, but maybe they'll do something. According to this, they'll say our goal though is to ensure that our 4G network meets the same high standard that our 3G network does, and we're not there yet, but we're getting there. So let that be the last word about Verizon. I do want to talk just a moment, and this may not be long, but Facebook is rolling out some announcements, and that is that they have 12 more apps.
Who's they?
Well, Facebook. I'm sorry, I thought I said Facebook. I apologize.
Maybe
if
I missed
did. Facebook has just announced that they have 12 more apps that they are adding to their timeline. This is a part of that whole open graph thing we talked about. For example, Netflix, the fact that you can share what movies you're watching. This is not available in the U.S. yet.
Okay, that was my question.
But this is an option that Facebook has made a partnership with. I think the other one, Spotify, is one we're familiar with. You listen to music, it automatically updates your timeline with what you're listening to.
Still haven't jumped on it yet. Just haven't.
Some of the new ones there's 12 new ones, but here are some of the bigger ones. That includes The Daily Show, the Huffington Post, Mashable, and MSNBC.com.
I like Huffington Post. I like
Are a
their
couple.
content, but man, if I got one of their browser windows open, they'd be slowing my stuff down. There's a bunch of bloated garbage in their webpage. I'm convinced of it. I have no proof of that except for
Sure.
Pete's sake.
So I guess the idea behind these services, and again, we're talking about the Facebook timeline. This is the open graph idea that you don't have to share what you're doing. It will automatically. So upon reading an article, I remember using one of these services, and I don't remember what service I was reading, but
I did
it would
that with
share
like a
the
newspaper,
article.
like a New York Times,
exactly.
Service or something like that.
Damon read this article, and it didn't ask me to share it. It just did it.
Yes, as you know, I think it's a generational thing, but I don't have to like that.
So I guess if you watch The Daily Show, instead of Instead of just saying, hey, do you want to share this on your wall, it will just automatically put a box out there and it will do it. I think there's another one. I don't know. Is Pinterest one of those? I'm not familiar with that. But clearly this has got to be something new. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Is this just new opportunity? Is this exciting information? Like, I will say this: the one that I'm waiting for is the Netflix one. I just want to be able to share those. And I mean, I can do it now, but there's something about sharing what I'm watching right now automatically with my friends. Although I'd like to block it.
I simply don't understand your
because maybe you'll want to watch it together. You know, like maybe
You
someone
wanna watch
says,
this with me?
"Yeah, think about that.
Watch it with me.
Think about that. You know, because this is about a
Please.
90-minute,
I've thought about it. You've explained it before. I still don't get it.
a 90-minute. Well, okay, look, we watched what's the thing we just watched? The Super Bowl.
Okay,
Right?
watch it with me.
The Voice, American Idol, Smash,
Duke versus
Glee,
Carolina.
Duke versus Carolina. These are things that people do together. If you've ever tried to use Twitter or Facebook when you're doing something alone, you get very few discussions. But when you do something like watching a game together, you know, you have thousands and maybe even more people, hundreds of thousands of people who are doing it at the same time you're doing it, and you can have a discussion about it because it's live. It's happening right now. The same can be said about watching television. Now, Tim and I, we did that that social television panel discussion, and we're finding that you can use these different services to kind of communicate with people, blah blah blah, and that's cool. It is the virtual water hole, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus, whatever. And so when you can do things together, it's a lot more fun. If you watch movies together, in the case of what I'm talking about, if I am starting to watch a television show or movie, and let's say you have a few minutes, maybe you want to watch it too, you can basically hit this link and watch the show, movie with me at the same time. We can then have a conversation right there on Facebook about this television show. Hey, did you see that? Or hey, that was so funny. And I find this to be an opportunity because when we do the weekend show on the Tech Monks, if you ever try to have a conversation with someone who didn't see the show, you can't talk about it. Right? This is off limits. Don't tell me because I don't want you to spoil the ending. So at some point, you either have seen it or you haven't seen it. And then if you have seen it, you can't openly talk about it because then someone's going to spoil it. And then it's just like boring. So at least if you can watch the show at the same time, that's kind of cool. So that's why I'm kind of looking forward to the day that Netflix put it out there. Let's see some of the comments that come in from the chat room.
we had we went off on a bit of a tangent while we were talking about this story. We were talking about we started with Huffington Post, and the first thing the Huffington Post and Mashable and Forbes and a couple of other sites do, they flashes you your Facebook friends and tries to lure you into that auto posting thing, and Ms. Eileen, well, Ms. Smith, if you bathed, and we're of the same mindset. I shy away from those sites for that very same reason. Man, get off me with that. And Little Bites chimes in that Pinterest offers the option to auto post to Facebook or Twitter, and it's not forced. And Eileen and I are of the same mindset. Any site that shows a pop up before I read the content, or even after I leave, I'm out of there. It bugs me. There's only one or two exceptions. Mashable is one of those, and when I do, the Clearly plugin I really enjoy. As you can see with this article here, it moves all that garbage out the way. And the coolest part about that is I can click another button and it goes to my Evernote. So there you go. Clearly may very well. And she says, guess what? I don't feel like I'm missing one single thing. Thanks to you, my bub.
Yes. Well, I appreciate it. Do what I can.
There you go. I love the chat room. You guys are
awesome. All right. Well, let's do Blog Roll real quick.
Rolling.
And on the other side, we're going to talk about the new Netflix and their partnership with
anyone they can partner with.
Sony PlayStation Vita. We'll talk about that on the other side of Blog Roll.
With the proceeds.
All right, Blog Roll is when we take a look at what you guys are writing, what you're putting out there into the blogosphere. Today we got one story that I'd like to share with you. And it comes from basicblogtips.com. It's basicblogtips.com. This one is written by Mohid Akhtar. This comes from Miss Eileen's blog. It's called 6 Top Gadgets That Are Essential for Pro Bloggers. Let me go over one or two of those things there. So looking at one, looks like, I don't know, a laptop. Yeah, that's definitely one that you'd probably want to have.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine trying to write a blog from a tablet unless it had a keyboard. That's probably the only way. I tried to write a blog one time from my mobile device, and it didn't look like much. It's like the spacing was all off, and I was like, oh, this is great. I can finally write my blog on the road while, sitting on the toilet, wherever I am.
But
Sometimes your best ideas come when you're on the throne. You know what I'm saying?
pause.
You have nothing else to do except think and write. So why not? So I tried it one time. I tried pulling out the Blogger app, and it just the spacing was wrong. It was just wrong. I gave up. I uninstalled it almost the next day. So that's definitely one that you probably should have. There are a number of other ones. There's let's see, another good one here. There's some good ones here. I'd give you another one. Another good one is the professional digital camera. Definitely, if you get a good digital camera, you can take really good pictures that you can add to your blog post, and you can even do video. And that's something that I did not know up until just recently, that some of the best video that are out there are coming from these cameras. And so one of the things I can definitely see
How did you not know that?
Is that if you get one of these really high definition cameras, you can take pictures and you can do video, and it looks marvelous.
How did you not know that?
Yes. So I just wanted to put that out there. So I can see those as being very good tools to have.
Okay.
So
I'll post it in the post the.
I'm
Link.
going to share this link with you guys right here.
Okay.
So you can check that out. Make sure you stop by her blog and say hi and let her know that you are a listener. Yes, but the name of the article is Top 6 Blogger Gadgets for Pro Bloggers.
I don't remember the last video. I mean, I don't remember the last webcam or digital camera of any kind that did not have both still and video capacity. They've been doing it that way for years and years and years. Yes.
Well, and I think even with these cameras, I think you get like 15 minutes maximum.
Well,
with the video.
It depends on your memory capability.
No, I think they actually limit it to 15 minutes. You
Who
can
does?
do as many videos as you want, like the Canon.
Canon.
I think if you look at that one, I think it's 15 minutes maximum per video clip. But you could do more videos.
I wonder why, technically speaking, they would feel. I
don't know. Do you know the answer to that, Mike? I know you got one, the T3i.
No, I don't have it.
Well, somebody has it.
Yeah, I don't think they know how to use it.
Oh,
Are we talking about somebody we know?
somebody we know.
I don't know who y'all know.
Can't hear you.
All right. Well, okay. Well, let me move on. So let me say thank you again, Miss Eileen. Thank you for sharing that. Keep doing what you're doing, girl. You are awesome.
Miss Smith.
I need to talk to you about some other things too, because you are the essence of awesomeness. So let's talk briefly about Netflix and they're landing on the Sony PlayStation Vita.
Oh yeah.
Which
What is this PlayStation Vita?
dang.
Of
Let me
which you
tell you
speak?
about this.
Oh god.
What?
And we've kind of talked about this a little bit over a while, but the PlayStation Vita is basically the successor of the PlayStation Portable, which is the PSP.
Oh, the PSP. Okay.
Right. So this is the new one.
Okay.
But it looks like, according to this, Netflix has just announced that its movie and TV streaming service is landing on the PS Vita today, making it the first Sony handheld entertainment system to feature the service. This comes from the Next Web, by the way. And it comes to the U.S. only for now.
Wonder why.
But it soon will come to other places. And I'm talking about Netflix being on that only in America.
I know. I'm just wondering why. If I've got a PlayStation Vita and I decide I want
maybe
to
you might
drive
not
over
have
to Mexico and
Right.
You might not have a cell phone or
See,
something.
do you remember yesterday when we were talking about Netflix and you made it sound like if you have the internet, you can get Netflix,
Yes,
and that's not the case. That hasn't been the case. It's just like Spotify. If you were in the UK or if you weren't in the US for a long time, you could not get Spotify.
Oh, that makes
Right.
sense.
In
I
the
guess there
US.
are some intellectual property laws of certain countries that's going to make this technology okay.
So
Well,
now you can kind of see why the advantage of Netflix having sort of access to these different countries. It's not easily accessible to every company. They're having to negotiate.
So the company has to go and deal with the governments of individual countries. That is quite the consideration that I did not make earlier.
Where's my $20? Where's my $20?
Oh, there's a long time between now and Easter.
Now, before you get to anything else, before you
I'm
try
not
to
getting
sway us,
anything. I'm just looking at
and I
these
see what you're doing.
interesting articles that you just
have
happen
ignored.
to have see in your peripheral vision.
So in addition to this, on Netflix, you can watch this from your PS Vita, which is a 5-inch touchscreen, and you can do that via Wi-Fi. But you also, and this is kind of what's cool about it, is that you can watch it via your PS Vita, and then or through your PS3, and it will automatically keep record of where you were. So if you start watching it on your PS3 and then you stop it, you go to your Vita to pick up where you left off, and it'll continue exactly at the moment. And
That's clever.
And that's pretty much kind of what it does for
Too bad.
for the web version. I mean, that's kind of what happens.
Yeah, that's how it
Exactly.
does
Stop a
from-
movie.
It
from
seems
your
to me,
But it's
iPhone
cool,
to
though.
your-
It seems to
to
me that's
your-
just
to
a
your
that's just a
computer.
that's just a database field. It
Sure.
would know the movie that you last watched and the time code for when you bailed. It doesn't seem
Sure.
like that would be, technically speaking, a real hard thing to do.
Well, it may not be a hard thing to do, but I just think it's kind of a nice feature to
Yeah,
sell
I agree.
it, to
I
say,
agree.
hey,
That is brilliant
I
UX.
can take the entertainment with me.
That is brilliant UX. I hit
You
the
know,
stop button. I
wherever
gotta
I
go
go.
and go do something. I come back to it, and it remembers where
Right.
it remembers my place. That is brilliant.
Or if you're just like those kids, you're like, "Come on, Johnny, we're gonna go now," and Johnny says, "Okay," and he gets out of his movie, his cartoon that he was watching, and he can get his PS Vita, take it with him, and if he goes to the dentist's office and they have Wi-Fi like mine does, he can continue to watch the movie at the dentist's office,
Yep.
right?
Nice.
And so you're kind of like, "Hey, stay entertained, even though we're not at home."
Yep. I mean, having a good overall user experience. I mean, it's its own excuse, and it ain't for amateurs either.
Now, as far as numbers go, I do wanted to point this out. Netflix has over 23 million members, streaming members, across North and South America, the UK, and Ireland, where it just launched recently. And there, I know we talked to them. They're working on Russia next as another one. Now, if they can get China, it's over.
Dude.
Right?
Anybody,
You get China. There's that many people watching.
Any company that gets a foothold
And
into
PlayStation
China.
It's
is
over.
prominent over there too.
It's over.
Too
And
bad
that-
nobody's gonna really buy the Vita, but it's close.
So,
Yeah, they won't.
but isn't the PS? I mean, Sony is in Japan though, right?
Yep.
Correct.
So Japan would be a good place, even though there's probably tons of people there. But
That is no indication that it's actually manufactured in Japan. Very much like
Sure,
the
like
Apple gadgets.
everything is.
Like the Apple gadgets are manufactured in China, even
Sure.
though it's an American company.
sure, that makes sense. Cool.
Well,
Well, that's great. So I don't think I'm gonna get anything for my kids anytime soon as it comes to the Vita.
Why don't you just get one for yourself?
I'm not sure that I'd want one, to be
yeah, I was
honest
gonna
with
say,
you.
who wants a Vita?
Like, I just don't know if I want one.
Who games that much?
I don't know.
90
If I can get
seconds.
if it gets Google Docs and stuff like that, I mean,
Yeah.
But then again,
It gets the internet
then again, they got this thing that does just that, and it's called an Android device. So
or any other smartphone.
does it play Angry Birds? The Vita
Doubt it. But you can get to the net, so
Hey.
play Angry
it
Birds.
might
on the
run
net.
Flash. Who knows?
Well, let me say thank you to you. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Mike, for hanging out with me today. I also want to say thank you to Alan Tran, Dyslexic in America, that's
60
LL,
seconds.
Eileen Smith, Neil, Tim Arthur, DB Funky, Little Bites. We also had Bob H here earlier. I want to say thank you guys for hanging out with us today. All of you listening live in an archive, thank you, and thank you again. Also want to say thank you to those who are listening right now from YouTube. Some of you have been catching them over there. I want to say thank you for that. Don't forget, you can catch this episode on YouTube. We'll be posting that shortly. You can also catch us every day, Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Blog Talk Radio. youtube.com/Damon Nolan. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Have a wonderful Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, Mike Render. Deuces.
We are over the hump.
Officially.
Get back to work.
10 seconds.